Girls are supposed to be girls, not brides. Girls are supposed to be leaders. Girls are supposed to be in classrooms, not bedrooms, not in the gardens. Girls are powerful. Girls have potential within themselves. All they need is someone or something to unlock the potential.
Today Africa Podcast is a podcast series where we interview African entrepreneurs and professionals and share the stories behind their businesses. In each interview, we ask how they got started, how they grew, and how they run their business today. The stories are inspiring and also provide specific advice and insight into starting a business. By sharing these stories, we want to help others get started.
Joan Kembabazi is a Ugandan female youth activist who champions for the rights of girls and women, but with the primary goal of championing for the end of child marriage. And this passion and this work started right from a personal experience where I lost my best friend into child marriage at the age of 13. And she was married off to a 62-year-old man who gave her family 2 cows as dowry. Well, also the fact that so many girls in my community were facing such tragedies, and why I do what I do is what girls go through, especially in Africa, in sub-Saharan Africa, not just in my community. So from a personal experience to also seeing what girls in my community were going through when I was growing up, to also getting to read about all these stories from girls all over Africa, that pushes me to do what I do. She pushes me forward. It makes me stay awake all night thinking about this, how this harmful practice really robs girls of their childhoods, of their lives, of futures. I remember my friend dreamt of becoming a doctor. Well, I dreamt of being an environmental scientist, which I really achieved. And so many times when I look back, I just, in my mind, I'm like, she would be here. She would be a doctor right now. Because one thing that I know is girls' dreams are really valid, and girls can really achieve everything and anything. Well, so much society has really put us in that state of we cannot be anything. All we have to do, all we have to be mothers, is be, do the house chores, is to just be in those places that have less power. But one thing that I've had to learn in my activism journey, in my life as well as a person, is girls can be anything and everything they want. So every time I see or I get to learn about this practice of child marriage, robbing girls of their dreams, it hurts me so much, and it really keeps me awake to think of how can I do to help? What can I do? And I've really been so much privileged to be that young leader in my community who champions for this practice, who holds leaders accountable, who really sits down with girls, who mentors girls through my grassroots organization called Gufasha Girls Foundation that I founded in memory of my friend. My friend was called Gufasha Maureen, and to honor her and also to honor other girls that have been affected by this practice, I founded it as Gufasha Girls Foundation. So we really do this work at grassroots. We work with communities, we mentor girls, we support their education, we train them when it comes to leadership, because I wouldn't be doing this if I wasn't a leader or if I wasn't mentored to be a leader. So I believe for girls to stand up for their rights, they really need to be mentored. They really need to be supported and trained. That's briefly about who Joan is and why I do what I do.
When was the moment you realized that the death of your friend was not just a personal tragedy, but a call to action for other girls?
I think just realizing that this wasn't just affecting one girl that I knew, it was because when I lost her, I took time to sit down and look at, all the girls in my community. And the girls I started with school, they were no longer in school. And the more I dived deeper into what was the cause or why are they out of school, the whole point or the whole issue was because these girls were forced into marriage at that very young age. One, it's because their families believe, because our families have this belief that no matter how much you go further with education, your end point as a woman or as a girl is marriage. So, in their minds, all what they say is, why, in the very first place, are you going to school? You know, why are we spending money, to send you to school? And yet, at the end of the day, you're going to get married. The whole thing comes back to my friend. Everything opened. That point, that tragedy really opened my mind, to start learning and to start really paying attention to this issue and how it was affecting my community.
Tell us more about Gufasha Girls Foundation and what I mean, what programs are you people offering? Are you giving to these girls that you people are rescuing from this child marriage?
So Gufasha Girls Foundation has programs that are really targeting both girls and the community as well, because the girls that we work with do not stay in isolation. They stay with communities, they stay with parents, they stay with fellow, with boys, they stay with, everyone. So some of our programs that are girl centered, where we focus on girls. We have the leadership programs where we empower them to be leaders. We have the sponsorship program where we make sure that girls at risk, girls who are vulnerable, girls coming from poor backgrounds, are in school, because we believe that education is a powerful strategy to end child marriage, to delay marriage, to equip girls with the knowledge that they need, and also to make sure that girls are really on the path of achieving their dreams. And other programs include MHM, menstrual health and management. This is where we support them with menstrual products and also knowledge to help them stay in school, to break the stigma in schools, and also create the period-friendly schools for girls to be able to perform well in class and avoid the absence during the academic days. Um, Other programs include sexual and reproductive health. We do provide services, we do provide guidance and counseling to girls, and we also partner with health centers to provide youth friendly services to girls, to support them to make informed decisions for themselves. And then when it comes to the community, we have community awareness programs where we bring together community leaders, including the religious leaders, including the local leaders, the traditional leaders, like every leader in the communities we are working with. We train them, we tackle traditional norms that are really right now negative, and they're really abusing the rights of girls. We respect culture, we respect tradition, but honestly, generations are changing. And so we bring them together, we have conversations with them, we train them about the law. Girls are supposed to be girls, not brides. Girls are supposed to be leaders. Girls are supposed to be in classrooms, not bedrooms, not in the gardens. So we sit down with them. We have an annual gala that we do every year, just as I did say annual. And this gala brings together different leaders. It brings together different communities. It's one of our biggest community events, and we use sports as a form of, mobilization tool to bring together all these people to ensure that we create awareness, and they also make commitments to standing up for girls' rights. So we have two approaches to our work: one that centers the girl, and also the other that goes down in the community where these girls come from, where they go for holidays, where they spend all the time. Those are some of the programs that we have.
Your foundation is named after your friend, which is a Gufasha Girls Foundation. So how do you carry the memory of your friend into every action that you take every day?
Right now, when I look at the girls that have empowered, girls who are standing up for their rights, girls that were rescued from marriage, girls that have refused to accept marriage at a very young age. So many times it really hurts that I wasn't able to do that when my friend was here. I wasn't able to stand up for her. You understand? And that thought of me not being able to stand up for her when she was here, when she was facing that, it really pushes me so much. It pushes me in this work that I do to empower more girls, because the guilt that I faced when she died, when I wasn't able to come through for her, is that guilt that pushes me forward. It's the energy. And in my mind, I'm always like, I don't want to see any other girl go through what my friend went through. So that the emotion really, really pushed me every day to do what I do.
Like you said, you are raping girls from early marriage, and I know it comes with a lot of challenges. Many people are going to oppose what you're doing. So, what challenges have you faced, and how did you overcome them?
One thing that I should say is community work, especially what we are really fighting as Gufasha Girls Foundation. This is a tradition. It's a norm. It's a culture thing. You understand? And when it comes to culture, it's mindset. It's not really easy to bring together those leaders who are the influencers, who are the gatekeepers of knowledge. It's not easy because in their minds they have traditions, they have culture. You understand? But these are the people who are at the front line. So many times we've found that backlash. We've found so many times challenges of even accessing communities by the leaders, because you can't just go to a community before meeting the chairperson or the chief of that community or even the woman leader. But the more we've continued to engage them, the more we've continued to persist and also, to push, because we know what we are fighting. We're fighting a mindset thing. This is not something that, how can I say? Well, this is just from way back, generations, long, long, long generations. It's a culture thing. And Africans with culture, we really hold on to our cultures, we hold on to our traditions. So honestly, I would say that when it comes to community awareness programs, we faced a lot of, pushbacks by the community leaders themselves. So that is one of the challenges. Also, another thing is we have so many girls in need. And when you look at Gufasha Girls Foundation, it doesn't really, really have that a lot of resources, but we are working with girls who are really vulnerable, with girls at risk. To realize that when you weigh the resources we have and the girls in need of our services and support, it's not really, really, helping out. But one thing that we've done to overcome that is we've really believed and we are really working into the fact that change happens at least with one girl at a time. So we can't carry all the girls. Well, it breaks our hearts that we are unable to engage everyone and engage the girls. But one thing that we've had to learn is we can move with one girl at a time. We don't want to just get a girl out of marriage and then put her back, let me say, to the parents who pushed her into marriage. Because at the end of the day, she's going to go back into marriage because the same parents will push her back to marriage. So if we get one girl out of marriage, we make sure that we support her with everything that she needs to stand up for herself, empower her.
You rescue these girls from going to child marriage, and people don't take them back to their family. So, where do people keep them, and how do people sustain them?
One is there are some that would that have really loved going back to school, and we have a sponsorship program. And we have others, really, like some who are mothers, really never want to go back to school. So we partner with people in the community, like the local chairpersons, people who believe in our work, and they really host them. They host them. We partner. Let me take an example. Like when it comes to the tailoring program, we partner with some ladies in the communities, the local ladies who do the work, and we partner with them and support them to skill them. So yeah, after skilling, we find ways on how we can support them start up something for themselves, because we can't really take them back to the family that pushed them into that situation.
You are doing a whole lot of things to help these girls, the women, and the community. So how did you raise capital? How are you raising capital to run your NGO, to run your foundation?
We have a program that makes reusable sanitary pads. So we have that as part of, it's a social enterprise. So we have that, and when we make the pads, well, some of them we donate them to communities or to schools, but it's one of the things that really generates some resources to continue pushing the work that we do. So that's one of the ways that we do raise capital. That's the service that we raise capital from right now.
You always link climate change, poverty, and child marriage in your advocacy. So how are they connected?
One thing that I would say is child marriage is a poverty issue. Child marriage is a climate issue. Child marriage is a human rights issue. And when I trace back, the whole story began when the agriculture produce was really, affected by climate disaster. And what does that lead to? It leads to this, because honestly, our communities depend on agriculture for survival. Honestly, and these are rural communities, and that's where food is gotten from, income is gotten from, school fees, like everything to support the daily, day to day and needs of the family. So this pushed the family into this financial crisis. And at the end of the day, one thing that I've had to realize that at the end of the day, girls are disproportionately impacted when it comes to things hitting the family, especially financial crises. So that's how child marriage really connects. That's how the three things connect. Because after that, the family is going to see the girl as burden. After that, the family is going to stop this girl from going to school, and yet the brothers are going to school. They'll stop this girl, from going to school to go and fetch firewood, to go and fetch water, to move these whole long distances, to access water, to just get everything done for the family. House chores. They're supposed to be in the kitchens, they're supposed to be in the gardens. Honestly, these are all interconnecting issues.
What do you tell a district leader to convince him about the impact of your work?
Well, I think one thing that we are not doing right now is convincing, because our work already speaks for itself. The impact that we created really speaks for itself. And right now, our biggest stakeholders and supporters are our district leaders. We work closely with our local government. They support us. Their offices are always open. We work with the district education officer. We work with the district community development officer. So honestly, I don't think we do convince them, because since our formal registration in 2021, we are making some good years. And honestly, we've been working with them throughout the entire process. They have seen us grow. They have seen us reach out to communities. We are thinking about so many programs. We talk to them because they know the communities so much better than we do. We talk to them, and these are the people that guide us. They guide us. They support our work. So honestly, because the work is speaking for itself, we no longer convince them. And yeah, we used to, because we really wanted to bring them on board when we were starting, because we knew they are very, very important stakeholders. But right now, unless it's maybe another district, maybe another leader, but the district our local government, they are our biggest supporters.
Have someone ever confronted you before based on the work you are doing?
Of course, especially from the old men who are whose minds are really deeply rooted in traditions and culture. The chiefs, the culture leaders themselves. Oh my God, the biggest challenge, because it's a mindset thing, and that's what they're holding on to. And we don't judge them, but this is what we are here to do: to transform minds, to change, to empower them, to show them that girls are supposed to be girls, and you are one of the support systems that they need. Honestly, I come from a community. Well, right now, maybe I'm becoming an example, but I come from a community that didn't ever believe in educating girls. But because I graduated and I became Joan today, who's a leader, who's empowering and inspiring other girls. They're really looking at that. And I'm still being the first graduate, but the work that I do is really, really pushing to remove that. But every time we approach these leaders, because we know they're the drivers, they're the influencers, every time we approach them, we have pushbacks, and they're like, you know what? There is nothing you're telling us. Our culture says so. Child marriage is just like FGM. It's a culture. It's a tradition. That's what they believe in. But this is why we are here, and this is why we keep on doing what we do. Because if we were really to be accepting the fear to lead, and or maybe accepting that, oh my God, these people will never change, we wouldn't be still doing this. So yeah, we face confrontation. I don't want to say just me, the team as well. So yeah, we face it, and the pushbacks and everything, but we are grounded.
What's one statistic about child marriage or gay education that shocks people the most? And how do you use it to fuel change in the communities?
Well, I think the fact that all over the world, 12 million girls are married off every year. And the fact that 129 million girls are out of school, that really, really breaks my heart. And when it comes to my country, 34%, imagine 34%. That's a very big number of girls being married off every year below the age of 18. So that statistics, I don't know about other people, but that really scares me so much. And that's why so many times I'm just like, we really need to do more. We really need to move faster. Otherwise, these are going to multiply. You never know what will happen next year. You cannot know about these whole global crises happening. And some of those crises fuel child marriage rates. Let me take an example. We came from COVID, and it was really terrible. Girls were pregnant, girls were married. So many girls, even right now, haven't reported back to school. So the more we move at a slow pace when it comes to solving child marriage, the more these statistics will really multiply. So the current statistics alone really scare me as a person when it comes to child marriage and also education. That's why in my mind, even when I'm in spaces, I really, really call upon us moving faster, whether 20 times faster, whether it's 300 times faster, because we don't know what will happen tomorrow.
What's the most rewarding reaction you have ever gotten from a girl who benefited from your program?
There is a girl called Angel. She's actually at this school. She's actually at this school. She's actually just next to me. Her story really inspires me so much. Her journey as well. And just me seeing her in school and her being focused on her education is something that really, really not just makes me emotional, but it really, really makes me fulfilled. It really fulfills me. It makes me, it gives me that satisfaction. So just her being dedicated to her education, because we are really giving her every support and resource that she needs. Because so many times, not every girl will stay in school, no matter how much she has everything she needs, you know but her being in school, and also looking back at her family, being supportive. I've gotten so many emotional situations with girls that we support, but her story really moves me, and I love to talk about it so many times. Just her being dedicated, it really inspires us to who are really supporting her, and also her sharing about her dreams. I really want to be this. I really want to do this, and I believe I can do it. That urge of believing in yourself, because that's what we want girls to do. We want them to believe in themselves, because if they don't do that, the societies we grow up from, these are societies that make us believe that change is not possible, that make us believe just because you're coming from this rural village, sometimes which is not even on the map. I'm just kidding. But it makes you think that you can you cannot be anyone. You cannot be the person you dream to be. So that really, really moves me. She really moves me so much.
Where do you see Gufasha Girls Foundation in the next 5 years?
I see it as a very strategically focused organization. When it comes to impact, I see it as an organization, a powerful one that is really, really standing up, that is impacting lives, that is protecting girls. I see it as an organization. Well, I don't see Gufasha Girls Foundation as just a CBO. I see it as an organization that is really, really rooted in the work that it does, that is, of course, known for the work that it does, that is not just locally or nationally, but also globally. Yes, I see it partnering with big organizations in the world, like World Vision, Plan International, UNICEF. So I see it as, when I look at impact, I see it protecting, I see it supporting, I see it empowering as many girls as possible. I don't want to limit us with a number. I don't want to say 2 million girls or 3, but as many girls as possible. And I also see it as that great organization that is globally known as an end child marriage champion.
What lesson have you learned in your journey as an activist against child marriage?
There are two, I should say two. One is change doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. And when it comes to advocacy, it really takes time. Community advocacy, mindset change really takes time. And another thing that I've learned is girls are powerful. Girls have potential within themselves. All they need is someone or something to unlock the potential. So those are two things that I've really had to learn in this journey.
What advice would you give to young people who want to start their NGO or who want to start their business?
I think one thing that I would say is let passion lead. That is the only thing that I would say first. Let passion lead. Things will not be easy. Running an NGO is not something that you are given on a silver plate. It's something that you need to give time to grow. You give time, you nurture it, you support it. When you're starting something, it's just like activism. When you're starting activism, you're not going to just start from the top level, you'll start from right down. So start small. And another thing that I would really emphasize and encourage young people is to seek mentorship. Take mentorship from people who have been there, because sometimes this whole work really breaks down and it really breaks you down. Honestly, this work leads you to burning out so many times if you really don't take care of yourself. So that's why so many times I encourage young people, even in my space, to seek mentorship, ask for advice.
Today Africa Podcast is a podcast series where we interview African entrepreneurs and professionals and share the stories behind their businesses. In each interview, we ask how they got started, how they grew, and how they run their business today. The stories are inspiring and also provide specific advice and insight into starting a business. By sharing these stories, we want to help others get started.